Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
His authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
Today's court hearing is one you don't want to miss. On paper, the case is listed under the name Matthew Aldridge, but when he steps up to the podium, he claims he doesn't have a name and instead calls himself an attorney of fact. For the record, that's not an actual legal role. Like many who follow the so-called sovereign citizen approach, he argues that the court has no authority over him. But the reality is simple. Courts have jurisdiction over anyone within their area. The judge doesn't buy the argument for a second and ultimately responds in a way that completely turns the tables. Let's dive in and see how this remarkable hearing unfolds.
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent mayor.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't we court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me. Apparently there's a copy here.
At one point, he even claimed to be an attorney of fact and handed the judge a piece of paper to support it. You didn't get to see it clearly, but the document quoted a made-up law that supposedly gave him the right to represent Matthew Aldridge. For anyone wondering, real attorneys must be licensed by the state and follow official legal procedures. A single sheet of paper with self-written claims doesn't grant anyone that authority. Still, people who follow the sovereign citizen approach often argue about jurisdiction as if declaring themselves separate from the law makes a difference. It doesn't. Courts rely on established federal, state, and local laws, not imagined ones, and judges aren't there to entertain these claims. I do wonder, though, are cases like this becoming more common, or am I just running into them more often? Let me know what you think in the comments.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on this case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are in fact Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Is that an article 3 trial?
To what?
Will that be an article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right, to Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
The judge in this case handled the situation like a true professional. He stayed calm throughout, shutting down each argument as it came up. The attorney of fact claim didn't last long before the judge addressed it directly and dismantled it point by point. When the defendant started quoting laws that don't actually exist, the judge's reaction showed he'd seen this type of behavior before. At one moment, he even made a small comment about the defendant not being able to state his own name, which added a bit of unexpected humor. Judges are usually very reserved, so it stood out in this hearing. From the start, it was clear the judge wasn't going to waste time on arguments that had no legal basis. And in the end, it just proves how ineffective and pointless these kinds of stunts really are.
Then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business.
Sovereign citizens are an unusual group of people who believe they can step outside the legal system simply by refusing to recognize government authority. They often reference ideas like common law or the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, but in ways that show a misunderstanding of how these laws actually work. To be clear, courts operate under federal, state, and local laws that have been in place for centuries and are supported by the Constitution. There's no loophole that allows someone to decide the rules don't apply to them. Instead, these arguments only waste time in the courtroom and usually lead to more legal trouble. Legally, the defense falls apart because of one simple concept: jurisdiction. Courts have authority over anyone within their geographic area, no matter what claims are made. Judges have seen these arguments countless times, and they don't give them any weight. In fact, trying to use this strategy can even result in harsher penalties for wasting the court's time. I honestly don't understand why people keep attempting this. Maybe they think they're finding a clever workaround, or maybe it's just a form of rebellion. Either way, it never works, and it often makes the situation worse. That's going to wrap up my breakdown for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about sovereign citizens in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and take care until next time.